The film tells the story of a mission to explore space in search of a new planet habitable for human life, where an expendable will be a trial in various terrible things such as fighting viruses, extreme weather, and aliens.
Eyeball explode.
At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to a man named Mickey, who is trapped in a snowy ravine in an injured condition. Then, a plane arrived at the location, and it was a friend of a pilot named Timo. But Timo's goal is only to take the weapon carried by Mickey and reasons that he cannot help because the rope is too short, also believing Mickey will be revived. So Timo immediately left, leaving his partner alone, trapped in a cold abyss, waiting for death. After that, a terrible creature appeared from the cave gap. Mickey could only be silent, preparing to be a snack. Elsewhere, the new Mickey, out of a device that can clone humans. All of Mickey's memory data is stored in a device to be transferred into Mickey's new brain, because his body was remade. They believe that Mickey has previously been killed, but he can be cloned because Mickey is an expendable, which means disposable. As expendable, Mickey has to carry out various dangerous missions, such as doing repair work outside the spaceship that is on a mission to find a new planet with the risk of exposure to radiation and high-risk accidents. And hey, whose hand is it? But I don't care. Mickey was also sacrificed for the virus trials. They take a blood sample to find an antivirus to make Mickey have to die many times until they got antiviral drugs to make sure all the crew were safe. But those are all things that an expendable must face, even though Mickey must die and live from cloning repeatedly. The reason he agreed to become an expendable happened a few years earlier, when on Earth, Mickey and Timo had debts making them pursued by loan sharks. And finally caught, apparently, they had borrowed large amounts of money to open a macaroni shop business. Unfortunately, the business went bankrupt, and they failed to pay off debts. These loan sharks were known. Cruel people have a habit of torturing anyone who can't pay. And so, they were shown the most terrible ways of torture. Seeing this, Mickey is severely traumatized and desperate. There is no safe place to hide. Eventually, Mickey makes the decision to be away from the loan sharks, which means leaving Earth to join an expedition to an alien planet called Nephilheim. The expedition's mission was led by a twice-failed politician named Kenneth Marshall. Marshall received sponsorship from the church group because in 2054, the condition of the Earth has worsened due to various disasters and global warming. The place was filled with applicants who wanted to join this expedition, and the vacant position was the expendable position, where Mickey, without much thought, immediately signed the application form as expendable, without really knowing the details of his work. Luckily, Timo was also accepted as a backup crew pilot on the space mission. After that, Mickey gets an explanation about a recycling hole of organic material that is used as a source of energy for human cloning machines, which means if Mickey dies, then his body will be cloned and will install the memory of the previous cloning, like the process of a robot undergoing a body scan and memory update. All that process makes Mickey remember the past when he was a child, accidentally causing an accident that claimed his mother's life. Those memories come back to haunt him, causing severe trauma. Then, as part of the official procedure, he being asked to shoot himself as a form of consent becomes expendable. After that, Mickey and all the passengers of the spacecraft left for Nephilheim. At first, he didn't know anyone there, but the situation began to change when the expedition leader, Kenneth Marshall, arrived with his wife named Yilfa. Hey, isn't he the Green Hulk? Their arrival is welcomed by the passengers of the ship, except Mickey, who actually noticed a woman named Nasha. While Marshall made a speech explaining if the food supply on the ship is very limited, so all expedition members must be able to save food and prohibit sexual activity, because it can consume large amounts of energy or calories that can consume food supplies. Meanwhile, Mickey is in a relationship with Nasha, whom he has just met. Now they are a couple and have spent 4 years together, traveling to the planet Nephilheim. After a long journey, they have finally reached the planet Nephilheim. But the planet has not supported life for humans, so they spent several years to make antivirus, because the air in Nephilheim turned out to contain a virus that has not been identified. Obviously, Mickey is used to test deadly viruses aimed at helping the development of vaccines. Several versions of Mickey must be sacrificed before they finally manage to create an effective vaccine.
We got the vaccine.
Someday, a special team got an assignment, and a woman named Jennifer joined an exploration expedition mission in an ice cave that had never been visited by humans, in which there was a ravine that became the original alien nest of the inhabitants of the planet Nephilheim. However, there is a terrible and a tragic incident. Jennifer was killed by rubble. This makes Marshall very angry, because for Marshall, losing Jennifer is more detrimental than losing Mickey. Also, the creature they found in the cave was later named Creeper, and told Mickey to tell Catch Creeper in live condition. But while doing the mission, Mickey fell into the abyss of ice, and this is the scene at the beginning of the film, where Timo came only to pick up a weapon, leaving Mickey alone in the abyss, in a wounded condition. Also, the appearance of a creature called the Creeper. Mickey's body is dragged by a larger creeper, making Mickey despair, thinking it will be eaten without being cooked first. However, it turns out that the creature actually took Mickey out of the cave to give help, like he wanted to save this young man. Mickey resentfully said, "Hey, I'm good meat. Make me a dish like Thanksgiving." But all the creepers were silent, thinking bro had gone crazy. Then Mickey goes to try to survive the extreme weather while walking through the ice field, and secretly infiltrates the back of a snowmobile, carrying a large rock sample from the planet Nephilheim. After arriving on the plane, Mickey immediately got out of the vehicle. Luckily, no one noticed his presence, and continued to walk past several officers and troops who were inside. When he returned to the room, Mickey was surprised by the presence of a version of himself who had just been cloned, namely Mickey 18. Mickey 18 felt that he had to kill Mickey 17 because there could not be two Mickey at the same time called multiple. Then it was revealed the fact that this cloning machine was originally created by a psychopath named Alan Manikova, because there used to be many cases of mysterious murders of homeless people. And these were serious crimes that might be like Jack the Pampers. Hey, who is the author of this narrative? However, the perpetrator of the murder did not work alone, because there were 3 of the same psychopaths, because Alan cloned himself, making the police confused, and this is a forbidden thing that must be destroyed. Kenneth Marshall then took advantage of this situation for his own benefit by using cloning technology for space exploration, convincing officials in the interests of economy and minimizing casualties. Also, he promises if Nephilheim is found, or if a multiple violation is found, then the machine and all cloning must be eliminated. Mickey 17 is taken to the recycling room to be destroyed, because Mickey 18 has a more aggressive nature, choosing the path of using violence, and is more courageous. Mickey 18 wants to throw Mickey 17 into a recycling machine pit, which means 17 will die permanently without being able to be cloned. In that condition, 17 tried to fight. However, unexpectedly, Timo suddenly appeared, making the two immediately hide. Apparently, Timo was dealing a drug called oxazofol. Seeing that cunning includes the fact that Timo is the main cause of Mickey pursued by loan sharks, Mickey 18 wanted to immediately get rid of it by immediately attacking and inserting it into the recycling hole. However, Timo is lucky that Mickey 17 tries to stop the murder. When a fight breaks out, Nasha and a commander arrive just in time, so Timo is cleared to become a drug dealer in hell. Then, the commander explained, there was someone selling oxazofol illegally on board, and it was a gross violation. Meanwhile, Mickey 17, who is hiding, feels jealous to see Mickey 18 with Nasha leave the place. He tried to follow the two who will do sports, thick sweat. Unexpectedly, a bald man appears with a birdman whose bird is small, takes 17 because Marshall invites him to dinner as an apology when he gets angry after losing Jennifer. Also, Kay came after getting an invitation to dinner. Unexpectedly, Mickey suddenly felt nauseous and vomited. Apparently, the food given at 17 was synthetic meat from experiments. It turned out that the reason Mickey was invited to dinner was not as a guest, but only as a guinea pig. Kay felt sorry to see Mickey in so much pain. Then the doctor gave him pain medication, which was also the result of an experiment to cure the condition 17. It seems that the effects of the drug make 17 feel more painful, and everyone there can't bear to see this. So Marshall wants to end 17's suffering with a gun, explaining that Mickey is just an expendable who has agreed to the risks in this mission. Fortunately, 17 has been feeling in good shape, asking not to kill him, also thanked by giving the best dinner. Then, 17 was taken to Kay's room, explaining that even though he died repeatedly, it was still painful, and that death was a bad experience, and that he really hated it. Hearing that Kay is increasingly feeling sorry for 17, she begins to think 17 is not just a cloned human, and makes Kay want to kiss him. Unfortunately, 17 refuses because he wants to remain loyal to Nasha, and then goes to the room. When 17 entered, Nasha was not too surprised, because 18 had already told the truth, because there were two Mickey made Nasha laugh, and feel happy to have two versions of Mickey, who it means double pleasure. Apparently, 18 had given Nasha the drug oxyzofil, which left her in a state of intoxication. She did not feel any objection to the existence of two Mickey, and eventually the three of them got involved in an even crazier relationship. But suddenly, Kay came to apologize, and was surprised to see the incident. Nasha tried to catch up, explaining this also begged Kay not to report the case as a multiple related offense. Kay proposes the idea that they split Mickey, asking for 17 to belong to Kay, while 18 to Nasha. But Nasha refuses because double pleasure is the pinnacle of pleasure. 17 panicked, worried that if Kay reported the case to the marshal, then the existence of this case would be revealed and become fatal consequences. Later television footage showed Marshall holding an event, making 18 very angry over Marshall's treatment of 17 during a dinner experiment. His anger is further heightened when 18 realizes if 17 does not try to resist, concluding that the real problem lies with the marshal, then 18 decides to finish off the ship's leader. In this case, the marshal will splitting a large rock, intending to engrave their names on it as a monument. While 18 was inside the event preparing to shoot, chaos ensued as a small creeper emerged from a rock pit, leaving everyone panicking and running in fear. Seeing this, the marshal gave the order to capture the creature, while the 17 who arrived at the event attempted to capture the creeper, assisted with several officers. But the situation gets even more out of control when another creeper emerges from the hole. 18 gets a chance to shoot Marshall, and luckily Nasha immediately prevents the murder, obviously making Marshall know if there is two Mickey. Then the creeper was killed with many shots. Finally, after the incident, the three of them were arrested and put in a cell with predetermined consequences, and will definitely be destroyed. In a state of despair, 17 tells the experience of why it was able to survive the previous incident, and how he was able to return to the ship, because the creeper is not a dangerous man-eating creature that actually gives help from the bottom of the abyss. Hearing this, Nasha finally found out that the creeper is not a predator, and they should be able to make friends with the original inhabitants of the planet Nephilheim. At that time, Timo secretly infiltrated the place and told Mickey that the two of them were in danger because they were being hunted by a loan shark named Darius. Reportedly, Darius's henchmen disguised as passengers and are now on this ship. In order to survive, Timo is asked to cut Mickey's body into several pieces which must also be recorded as evidence. Timo begs Mickey that he can survive forced to do a very terrible way. 18, willing to do so, also asked oxyzofil, so as not to feel pain, and Nasha incapacitates Timo and the officer. As he is about to cut Timo's body, the commander arrives to stop Nasha. Then Nasha explains everything about the previous incident. Luckily, the commander believes because there is a proof from a letter from Darius. While walking down the aisle, the commander informs them that since the creeper baby death incident yesterday, the entire creeper creatures in large numbers have surrounded the ship. Scientists are carrying the surviving creeper babies, and a female researcher has developed a creeper language translation tool. Then they gathered in the control room and Marshall arrived and, without hesitation, erased all of Mickey's memories on the memory recording device. He planned to erase Mickey's existence forever. Then, Nasha tries to explain about creeper, which is actually not dangerous because it's been 2 days. The creature just surrounds the ship like waiting for something, namely the creeper baby they captured. Even they didn't attack at all, so this is not a war situation. Also, the creeper has intelligence and can communicate, but the marshal doesn't care, even hanging the baby creeper over the recycling machine hole. She then gave Nasha the choice of letting the baby fall or holding the rope as a form of sacrifice. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the marshal, the commander recorded this entire incident because he considered it a serious offense to act like a dictator. The situation is further complicated when the marshal decides to annihilate the entire creeper besieging the ship using lethal gas. One of the assistants suggests that they record this moment more dramatically, showing as if the marshal is the hero who eliminated the dangerous aliens. Then, 17 and 18 are used as decoys, fitted with bombs where the trigger is held by the marshal, and only one Mickey will survive. That is, the one who can finish off more creepers. 17 understand that this may be a punishment for them, and this is better than being put in a recycling machine. Before leaving, the assistant scientist gives the creeper a modified language translator, but the two of them have no intention of killing the creeper, instead intending to tell the mother colony, Mama Creeper, if Marshall plans to exterminate the entire creeper race with poison gas. 17, asking Mama Creeper to take her entire colony away immediately from this place before it is too late. Also, this as a sign of thanks for having been saved before. The surprising thing is, suddenly Mama Creeper turns out to know Mickey's name, which looks like the creeper is an intelligent creature. But Mama rejects request 17 firmly, because humans have killed one of the babies, and asks to return the baby who is still alive. Mama Creeper reminds if the baby creeper on the plane dies, then all humans in that place will be completely destroyed with incredible screaming sounds that can destroy the eyeballs and brains of humans around him. Realizing this is a dangerous situation, Mickey immediately runs to warn Nasha to save the baby and take her to Mama Creeper before it's too late. Meanwhile, Marshall is advised to go out and document about his own heroic story before carrying out the plan to exterminate the creepers. Mickey promises Mama Creeper if Nasha will come soon and will definitely take baby creeper safely. But as a form of revenge for the death of one of their babies, Mama Creeper asks for justice, lives to be paid for with lives by asking one human to be killed. This madman and his army have entered an area full of creepers to get the best footage. While Nasha thought she was running out of time, she attacked Ylfa in a smackdown lockdown style, asking that she could leave with the baby, and the commander agreed. But Ylfa does things out of control, making the commander, who has witnessed the marshal's cruelty himself, and Yelva, decided to arrest both of them and report all these incidents to the committee. Somewhere else, Marshall is confident of winning the war, moves closer to Mama Creeper with plans to make a speech in front of the creature showing spectacular action, while Nasha runs as fast as possible while carrying baby creeper. When the marshal was near, the creature showed something unexpected, where the creepers immediately moved to form a defensive formation like rice balls from Japan to protect Mama Creeper. creating the illusion of camouflage to trick the enemy. Obviously, when they saw this, they felt confused. In a panic, Marshall decided to shoot Mama Creeper, who instead was like a New Year's firecracker. Unexpectedly, 18 managed to infiltrate the Marshal's vehicle with the intention of finishing off the crazy man, while Nasha finally arrived at the destination and handed the baby to Mama Creeper. Luckily, the baby turned out to be alive. In the same time, Mickey, 18, managed to carry out his mission by taking revenge on Marshall like a street fighter. 18 realizing the trigger of the bomb was Marshall, then he was sure he would get a lottery of $1 million if he chose the number 18 and... Six months after the incident, the entire colony gathered to celebrate the end of the Expendables program. Now Nasha has officially become part of the committee members and is specifically grateful for Mickey's services. Also, the entire committee agreed to destroy the cloning machine so that nothing bad happens. Then, Mickey became the executor to blow up the machine. Elsewhere, the Marshal's followers are now imprisoned, while Timo must face Darius's henchmen, who previously pursued him. Luckily for Timo, managed to overcome the situation and explain everything during the trial, which was finally released by the judge. Now, Nasha has officially served as chairman of the board of the review committee, and it is a wonderful thing. And now, they have made peace with the Crepiers. 17 curious and asked Mama Crepier in rapper style about the power of sound that can make the brain explode, annihilating all humans. According to Mama, it's actually just a bluff, because the voice doesn't really have any crushing power, just a singing voice like the baby Crepier does. One day while working, Mickey hears something strange and realizes Yilfa has made a cloning of Marshall's body. However, it was just a nightmare, shown with the cloning machine exploded and destroyed. The film end.